So James Lindsay announced the other day that he will be voting for Donald Trump. Obviously, he is doing it very trepidatiously. I haven't heard his podcast. Apparently, he recorded a video or a podcast or something talking about his choice of vote. Some people have listened to it that I know that are in my locals community. They say it's a really good explanation, so I'm sure I'll listen to it at some point, and I hope you do too. But he tweeted this out earlier, this tweet from Steven Pinker saying, "I disagree with this argument clearly, but you should read it." And so what is the argument that he disagrees with? Well, it is his partner in crime in Cynical Theories, Helen Pluckrose, pleading with American liberals to vote for Joe Biden. I gotta say, Helen, I adore Helen Pluckrose. I really do. I think she is an incredibly smart woman. I enjoy her insights. I actually just downloaded the Cynical Theories audiobook on my phone because I do actually have the hardcover version too, so now I've bought the book twice. But I need to listen to it because I want to knit at the same time. I'll be listening to it on my trip out to Omaha for this weekend's walkaway rally, and I can't wait. I think it's great. But I think she's wrong on this. I think she's wrong. I think she's absolutely wrong that people should vote for Joe Biden. But you know what? We are going to follow James Lindsay's good advice, and we're going to read her argument, and we're going to consider her argument. And I'm going to respond to it, and that's what we're going to do. But before we get into that, folks, I have a challenge for you. I have a challenge, and you have 1 day, actually less than 1 day as of the recording of this, to complete this challenge. You see, as of the recording of this video, I am but a couple hundred people shy of my goal of hitting 100,000 subscribers before Election Day. Now, of course, I'm going to reach this goal before Election Day. That's kind of a foregone conclusion at this point, unless YouTube dumps a whole bunch of subscribers from my account randomly, and let's not give them any ideas. But assuming there are no YouTube shenanigans involved, I will absolutely meet this goal. So I added an extra challenge onto it. I want to meet this goal by tomorrow. By tomorrow, Friday, February 23rd, and if I meet this goal by tomorrow, I will do an amazing live stream, a happy hour live stream in the afternoon around 4:30 Eastern time, I'm thinking, to tell you all the glorious, juicy, gossipy story of how I got fired from New Hampshire Public Radio. It is awesome. This is one of the proudest moments of my life, and I really want to tell you the story. It's one I've been saving up for a moment as glorious as this. But you got to do your part, man. Got to hit subscribe, got to share the videos out, got to get your friends on board, all that good stuff. When we hit that 100,000, we will go live, we'll kick back, we'll have a cocktail together, and I will dish the dirt. All right, but now on to more important matters than my gossipy story. Let's talk about Helen Pluckrose's argument for wanting people to vote for Biden. Dear American liberal lefties, I hear the arguments some of you are making for voting Republican for the first time next month. Yes, I am one of those. If you are new to this channel, I am one of those people. I have never voted for one single Republican in my entire life, and I will be voting a straight Republican ticket on November 3rd in 12 days, and I can't wait. I'm psyched. I might even live stream my vote. We're gonna see. I understand that you fear that a vote for the Democrats, while radical social justice ideas are at their greatest ever influence, is tantamount to enabling those ideas to embed themselves deeper into vital institutions. Yes. You think there is credible threat that this will lead to the dismantlement of freedom of belief and speech, the further institutionalization of critical social justice beliefs in the government, employment, media, and education, the undermining of science, and the stroking of racist identity politics that divide America and threaten to roll back decades of progress on race relations. Yes, 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 yes. But I'm going to add on something to that, Helen. I'm going to add on that Donald Trump is one of the few people that's actually fought against this. Donald Trump for me was originally a protest vote. I was so pissed at the Democrats. I was like, I'm going to give you the biggest middle finger I can, and I'm going to vote for your sworn enemy. It was a protest vote. I wasn't thrilled about Trump, but I was like, these people are nuts, and they do not deserve power in any way, shape, or form. That was originally what got me to vote for Donald Trump. And then Trump banned critical race theory. Not only did he ban it in the federal government, he banned it in federal contractors. You know what? Guess what? That is good enough for me. He has earned my vote. He is one of the very few people that's actually pushing back on this nonsense, and there are other reasons to vote for him too, which I'm sure we'll go into in this letter. But let's keep going. You tell me you don't like Trump and you don't support the Republican platform. Okay, pause. I want to talk about the Republican platform for a minute because I was in Nashville a couple weeks ago with Walkaway, but also the Log Cabin Republicans were also in Nashville, and it just happened to be, I think, on the same weekend. I'm not sure if they coordinated it or what, but what happened is there ended up being like a metric F ton of gay men hanging out, like gay male conservatives that were like hanging out in Nashville, and there was a party and all this stuff, and Rick Grinnell was there. And actually, I ended up, I think I was like overheard a conversation. I just happened to be like standing around it while they were talking about it. But they're actually talking about the issue of the Republican platform. There is no current Republican platform. Dude, this comes like directly from the horse's freaking mouth. There is no current Republican platform. You want to know why? Because there was not a 2020 Republican convention. The Republican platform, the GOP platform as it exists today, was basically a holdover from 2016, and they didn't even really update the platform then because they were so pissed that Donald Trump was their nominee. A lot of them didn't want Trump to be the nominee, so they basically punted the platform back from 2012 into 2016. They didn't really change a lot between 2012 and 2016. Now, they were going to update the platform in 2020, but then they didn't have a flipping convention. And so the current GOP platform, as it exists right now, the approved blessed platform, is not actually, it has no resemblance to what the actual platform is, because what the Republicans did at their convention is they basically said, we're just going to support Donald Trump. We're not going to vote on a new platform right now because we're not really having a convention. That was just the way it worked out. We're going to throw our support behind Donald Trump. So every single time you hear the GOP platform being brought up, you're very literally talking about Mitt Romney's platform. Mitt Romney's platform from 2012, which basically did not get updated in 2016 because they were going to update it in 2020, and then the pandemic happened. So keep that in mind. Every time someone talks about what's in the current Republican platform, it's not a real thing, man. It's just an excuse to go after the Republicans. But let's keep going. You assure me that you haven't suddenly lost your commitment to racial and gender and LGBT equality, or that your progressive aims for economic and social policies. Dude, Helen, I haven't lost my commitment to any of those things. Not a single one of them. And guess what? The Republican Party wants those things to be in place too. The Republican Party wants opportunities for everyone, regardless of the color of their skin. The Republican Party wants opportunities for women. The Republican Party doesn't care who you sleep with. They do not care. Donald Trump was the first president to come to office supporting gay marriage. Joe Biden didn't support gay marriage until the polls told him to. Donald Trump has supported gay marriage a lot longer than that. Donald Trump has launched a global initiative to decriminalize homosexuality. Donald Trump is providing free HIV medication to a whole metric, I don't remember the exact number, but it's like a metric F ton of people. Free medication is committed to eradicating HIV and AIDS in this country. These are all, Donald Trump appointed the first openly gay cabinet member in Rick Grinnell. These are all things that are provably true. I don't know why we're continuing to have this conversation. You want to talk about racial justice? Donald Trump is going to implement the Platinum Plan when he gets elected again, which means more opportunity zones. Donald Trump also got permanent funding for HBCUs. Donald Trump was responsible for the economy that had the lowest African-American unemployment rate in history. Also the lowest the lowest Hispanic unemployment rate in history, the lowest Asian unemployment rate in history, the lowest unemployment rate for women in 50 years. Women's wages have never been higher. That has all happened under Donald Trump. So please, let's stop this farce of pretending that the Republicans are not in favor of any of these things. They absolutely are. They just have different ideas than you on how to do them. And based on what was going on before the pandemic in Donald Trump's economy, Barack Obama likes to claim it, but really it's Donald Trump's. Based on everything that was going on before then, Donald Trump is completely in favor of all these ideas. He is a moderate, dude. He used to be a Democrat for a long time. He is a moderate. He is not a conservative. Between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, Donald Trump is the more liberal candidate, Helen. He is. If you actually look at what he's done rather than what the media is spinning. Let's keep going. You don't necessarily think Biden is a radical social justice extremist. Well, that doesn't make a difference because he supports them and he isn't fighting back. And that is the difference. I don't care if Biden believes in any of this stuff. Biden doesn't even know where he is half the time. Biden is not all there. If the Democrats had not nominated a candidate with actual dementia, we might be having a completely different conversation right now. You do doubt that he has the necessary strength of character and commitment to stand firm against the radicals, and that this could have catastrophic consequences for all American. Not even that, dude. I don't think he has the cognitive ability to stand up to these people. He doesn't have it, man. He doesn't have it. And who's going to do it in his place? Kamala Harris? Obviously not. She's been playing this game. She's been playing the identity politics game the entire time. Her entire debate with Mike Pence was Kamala playing the women card or the black card or any other number of identity politics cards that she had in her back pocket. That's all these people know how to do, and they've shown it over and over and over and over and over again. I don't know why this is so hard for people to see. You think Trump, awful as he is the candidate who will stand against it, and it is better to vote for him as an interim measure to give the left more years to address its social justice problem and return to liberal values of gender and racial equality, while also remembering its commitments to the working class who are suffering the impacts of deindustrialization. Listen, man, I think that Helen Pluckrose has completely underestimated the problem that we have, because especially in the last several months, the left is now addicted to outrage. They are absolutely emotionally and probably physically, frankly, addicted to I forget the word. They're addicted to the feeling that outrage gives them. They're addicted to it. It is going to be a huge, massive problem to undo that. And Biden getting into office is not the antidote for that. I don't even know what the antidote is. I don't even know at this point if it's possible. I mean, honestly, at this case, I kind of think like best case scenario in all of this is that the left implodes itself, and then we can actually have sensible moderates and sensible conservatives who are not deranged, who actually see reality as it is, kind of step in and take those roles until they get their stuff back together again. You tell me that your liberal conscience tells you that Trump is the lesser of two illiberal evils right now. No, Trump is the more liberal candidate. And I mean liberal in exactly the same way you mean liberal. He is the more liberal candidate. I hear you, but I think you are wrong. The left cannot be made more liberal by people going right. If that were likely to happen, we would have seen the social justice movement diminish in power and influence during the last 4 years of the Trump presidency. That's not true at all. That's not true at all. The right has gotten more moderate. The right has actually come left a lot. I mean, not all of them, obviously, but the Republican Party has gotten much more moderate under Donald Trump than they have gone to the far right. So I just don't think her analysis there is accurate. I just don't. The hypothesis that the left will come to its senses and ditch the identity politics and general wokery if the population, especially its traditional working class base, surges right has been disproven. The Democrats no longer have a working class base. Let me take you back to a time when Joe Biden on the campaign trail literally challenged a union auto worker to a fight for disagreeing with him. That was Joe Biden, dude. The left is now the party of the rich. The Republicans are the party of the working class. That is the shift that's happened. This is the same as Bret Weinstein. I posted a video earlier today about Bret Weinstein getting banned off Facebook, but refusing to support Donald Trump because it goes against all his progressive sensibilities. This is exactly the same thing. I do believe that people like Bret Weinstein, that people like Helen Pluckrose, who are very smart, very intelligent, very knowledgeable people who I have, regardless of what you might think about this little ranty video, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Helen. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Bret. I just think they have derangement when it comes to Trump. I think they literally do not see reality right in front of them. Maybe that could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe they're focused on other things. Maybe they haven't talked to, like real average people on the ground. They're kind of like living in this chamber where they only hear from very specific types of voices. That can be actually really easy to do, especially in a pandemic where a lot of people really aren't leaving their homes as much, aren't traveling as much. But dude, I am on the ground every single weekend, all over the country. I talk to people all over the place. I am very confident of my assessment here. I talk to a variety of people, a variety of different viewpoints. I feel very strongly that Helen does not have this right. Instead, CSJ has become both more dogmatic and mainstream in response to this development. Biden is a moderate liberal, not a social justice activist. Yes, I agree with that. I do think that Biden, when he was actually cognizant, was a moderate liberal. He lacks the charisma and rhetorical power of Obama, but his platform is very similar. The lip service he had paid to identity politics is regrettable, but he has condemned the violent riots. Not in any sort of serious way, Helen. I'm sorry, no. He won't even say the words law and order. He won't say them. Watch the debate tonight. Watch how Biden handles any questions around this. He's not going to say the word Antifa. He's not going to say the words law and order. He's not going to condemn Black Lives Matter. Are you out of your mind? His presidency would have to deal with the extremism problem, giving them the chance to push the social justice left back with liberal leftism. That is the only way it can be pushed back. The left can only be fixed by the left, and liberal leftists need to stay put to do that. I adamantly disagree. I think how the left is going to get fixed is it's going to destroy itself, and enough people are going to wake up to say the Democratic Party is not the party of JFK. We need to look elsewhere. And guess what? There's a whole bunch of politically homeless people just like me, currently anyway, in the middle that will say, you know what? You're not crazy. There are a lot of people that agree with you. Welcome with open arms. You don't have to become a Republican. That's not a requirement, but you do have to be sane and see reality for what it is. More importantly, there is the rest of the Democratic platform compared to the Republican platform. Again, don't look at what is on the GOP's website. That is Mitt Romney's platform. That is not Donald Trump's platform. Look at Trump's website with the plans that he has, that he talks about all the time. Like, look at what he's actually saying. This isn't hard, dude. Go to the horse. Trump talks about this stuff all the time. You know exactly where Trump is at. Trump is the freaking GOP. That's what they voted to do at the 2020 convention. Support Donald Trump. Do you want a minimum wage and progressive taxes? I don't know, man. I don't particularly think people deserve an ever increasing minimum wage, to be honest. I don't think that someone working at McDonald's should be making $15, $17, $18, $19, $20 an hour, whatever the heck they're demanding now, because as soon as you give them that minimum wage increase, it's not going to be good enough. They're going to demand the next level, and we know that since they've already done it. Do you want universal health care and a strong welfare safety net? I don't know that I particularly think universal health care is the best idea in the world. I just don't. I think that there's got to be a compromise. I think there should be a public option of some sort, but I also don't know why I should be responsible for paying for the poor health choices of other people. And frankly, for them paying for my poor health choices as well. Dude, I eat crappy food all the time. I'm very well aware. And other people shouldn't be responsible for my bad decisions. Do you think effective action on climate change and COVID management are important? I think Donald Trump did as well as anyone could have done with COVID. I do. Was it perfect? No. Do I think Joe Biden would have done better? No. And that's based on the fact that he's made public comments against the things that Donald Trump did right, like closing down travel from China at the end of January. And Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats didn't make their first public statement. Kamala Harris, by the way, did not make her first public statement on COVID until 2 weeks after Donald Trump closed the border to China. Nancy Pelosi made her first statement on COVID 2 weeks after that, when she went down to Chinatown in San Francisco and encouraged everyone to go outside. Do I think there is any universe in which Joe Biden would have made better decisions? Absolutely not. Do you want to protect same-sex marriage and women's access to reproductive health care and abortion? Same-sex marriage is not in danger. 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 Ask the log cabin Republicans, who actually have more skin in the game on this one than either Helen or I do, and see what they think about same-sex marriage and whether or not it's in danger. And frankly, I'm not even nervous about pro-choice. As someone who is a pro-choice person, I do not want there to be the option to make that decision up until the point and even after birth. I don't want that. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's productive. I want there to be limits. I want there to be 3-month limit, except for cases where the health of the mother is involved. I think that's perfectly reasonable. I think that's perfectly fair. And no, I don't particularly want to get into a discussion about my position of this. And if any of you call me a baby killer or any derivation thereof in the comments, you're going to get banned. There's going to be no questions asked. There's going to be no appeal. You're going to get banned instantly. You've been warned once. What about effective gun control? No. The Democrats lost their right to take away guns or put any regulations in place the minute that they supported looting and rioting. The Second Amendment debate is over. Democrats have gone out and bought guns in record numbers. Guess what? My family was one of those families that didn't have a gun in it before. We have a gun now, planning on buying many more guns as well, because it is the only sensible thing to do in an environment where the Democrats are literally supporting GD riots for months on end, not doing a dang thing to stop it. So no, I don't want them. No, lost their privileges. Reform on the prison system? Oh, Helen! Donald Trump is responsible for the First Step Act, which is the first major prison reform in decades, which has freed over 3,000 people, 91% of whom were from the Black community. And abolition of the death penalty. I mean, I can go either way on the death penalty. The death penalty is not the most important thing to me right now. at all. Do you want to protect undocumented migrants and give them a safe legal pathway to citizenship? Dude, I married an immigrant. I think the immigration system absolutely needs to be reformed. Do I want open borders? Nope. Do I think that's what Joe Biden will do? Yep. If you do, you are a liberal leftist, and the liberal left needs you to stay put and fight for this. Well, maybe I'm not as liberal as I thought I was. Maybe I'm not, because I don't really care about any of this stuff right now. What I care about is protecting silly things like the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion. If we can't all get behind that, then the rest of these conversations are moot points. Absolutely. Maybe I was just destined to leave the Democratic Party because I frankly don't prioritize much of this over protecting the First Amendment and individual liberties. Please vote Democrat next month. No, shan't. Yours in friendship, Helen Pluckrose, a British liberal lefty who declines to stay in her lane. P.S. No, I won't be denouncing any of my friends who think differently, and neither should you. Again, as much as I ranted in this video, I do really have a great deal of respect for Helen, and I hope if she ever ends up seeing this, she doesn't take too much offense, but I really disagree with her, and I really think that she's gotten many points wrong in this letter. Now, does that mean that I think that her work in general is not worthy consideration? I love her work. Her work is critically important. Like I said, I've got Cynical Theories on my phone. Hang on, I'll even prove it. I got Cynical Theories on my phone. It's downloaded. It is ready to go. Well, it's almost downloaded. It's queued to be downloaded. You can see Cynical Theories queued to be downloaded on my phone. I can't wait to listen to it, truly. I think that the work that she and James Lindsay and Peter Boghossian have done is really, really important. I just think she's wrong on this one. I just think she's wrong. And what goes to show is that even some of the smartest people can be, deranged about really specific issues. And I hope that someone helps her to see that she's gotten quite a few things wrong in that. I don't know. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this one. I'll see you soon.